All right. Another reason that people procrastinate is because of doubts and confidence. And I want to stop and say, what is self confidence and where does that come from? It comes from nobody appreciating what you're doing. You always second guessing yourself and being unsure, like, am I doing it the right way? House cleaners suffer from this a lot. We go outside people's houses and we clean their house, and then they pay us the money and we never hear from them. And we're like looking around like, well, did I do a good job? I mean, they didn't fire me. They didn't complain, but they didn't say thanks. They didn't say I did a good job. And when we're a little tiny person, there's always somebody to pat our back. When we do a good job, they're like, high five, During the pandemic, everybody stopped doing high fives. People stopped doing fist bumps. People stopped touching. And they're like, "Ugh, germs, right? I like the happy bill because it removes the need for the high fives and it removes the need for the fist bumps. And all the people that are still on high alert, like, oh, we don't touch, oh, you can ring a bell, right? I just gave you permission. What's really cool about this is it gives us a chance to build our confidence, knowing that what we're doing is our best effort. And what we train all of our house cleaners to do is when you leave a room, because we know we're on security cameras, I want you to grab and we have a clipboard that has a checklist on it. Take your checklist, and as you inspect the room, I want you to physically give yourself a thumbs up. And in America, this is a good sign, meaning we did a good job. This is an award we give ourselves. It's like the happy bell on the job. But what happens is our customers who are watching their cameras, their security cameras, they look at the house cleaner going through cleaning everything. Then the house cleaner comes back into the room when they're done cleaning with the checklist and they check their own work off. And then they give themselves a seal of approval like, oh yeah, I did a good job. Okay. That's your own pat on the back for yourself. Because as you leave, you're leaving with your head held high saying, I did the very best work that I could do. When I leave here today, I'm proud of the job that I did for my customer. My customer is going to be so pleased themselves. Every time you give yourself a thumbs up, every time you give yourself a happy bell, what you're doing is boosting your own self-confidence. You're telling yourself, I did a good job and I'm worthy of whatever comes next. And so even though life is full of doom and gloom and people that complain and people that don't give you compliments, we give ourselves the compliments because we know we did our best work, right? One of the things that I want you to do, and has helped me and served me very well, and here's a great big picture of all my notebooks. And this is not all of them. This is some of them. I want you to take a notebook, and it's just an empty notebook, and it looks a little something like this. And I want you to put this next to your bedstand at night. And every night before you go to bed, I want you to take an ink pen and write down what you did for the day. And if you learn something new, I want you to write it down. And I don't want you to collect a whole bunch of notebooks for 30 years because that's not very helpful. But I want you to get rid of them maybe every other year. And so you're going to have a stack, okay, a small stack like this. And this is going to be about a year's worth of notebooks. Maybe you don't have that many, maybe you have more. I don't know. But if you ever get in a slump and you feel like I'm not doing a very good job or people don't appreciate me or whatever, I want you to go back through your notebooks and I want you to read them like I did on that flight to Zurich. And I want you to take a look at everything that you learned and everything that you experienced and everything that you went through during the year. Because you'll find a lot of things pop up, like you're going to switch from, I don't know, dial up to internet service or something like that. Then you're like, whoa, look, I upgraded and now I have such fast internet. And you'll watch yourself progress through the course of the year. There's nothing that builds self-confidence quicker than going through a whole entire year of stuff and looking at all the things that you learned and all of the things that you accomplished and all of the goals that you had. And then you're like, whoa, that was a goal of mine 3 weeks ago. Holy smack, I've already accomplished that. And then you give yourself a happy bell because you accomplished it, right? And so instead of just feeling sorry, like, oh, I'm just going to put it off because I'm never going to get around to doing it. Yes, you are. You are because you're keeping track and you're keeping score. And these notebooks are going to be your record of what you're doing. Okay. It's not very expensive. I think you can buy these little books. I think during the school season, like before school starts, they're like 20 cents a piece or something at Walmart. You can go buy a whole stack of them for $2. It's not a lot of money, but to have it on hand and to have it right next to your bed so that every single night before you go to bed, you can kind of do a little download of the day. If you have anything that's causing you stress, anything that's going to interrupt your sleep, you can put it right there on the page. When you wake up in the morning, it's going to be right there waiting for you. You didn't have to take it to bed with you. You just kind of like dumped it out. It's going to be there waiting for you. Then the next day when you get up, you can take it into your office if you want, or into the kitchen while you're having your morning coffee, and you can work through it. You can write notes, you can cross it off or whatever, right? So my goal for you for this particular segment is that you start documenting what you're doing. Because if your goal is to go through the bedroom closet and it's oh so overwhelming and you're procrastinating and you're putting it off, this is going to give you a chance to make a note. What do I have to do to break this down in bite-sized pieces? Write it down, right? What do I have to do? Let me work on all the socks. Let me work on all the shoes. And as you break it down, cross it off your list. When you look at your list, you say, well, check it out. I already knocked off 8 things on my list. It's not so big anymore, is it? And as you break it down, what do? You give yourself the happy bell, right? We know the routine now. Yes, we do. I love this. This is so much fun. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in these notebooks that I don't know how it's ever going to happen. Like, hey, this is a crazy goal. I want to do this. And then, a year later, it's already accomplished and not at all how I thought it would have been accomplished because the resources or the avenue that made it possible, I didn't know about at the time. But sometimes writing it down opens up the door of your creativity. And it's like, hey, I'm now looking for this opportunity. Stuff starts coming your way, right? So I love the process of writing stuff down because if I'm decluttering, especially, I can make a list. And as I start crossing stuff off the list, then it gives me not only the sense of accomplishment, it shows me what else I have to do. And it also opens the door that either I can outsource it or I can make a different change or I can keep something a little bit longer or I can let something go a little bit sooner or someone else in my house can see it and go, oh, I can help with that, right? Lots of opportunities if we're tracking and measuring our results.